Hello. If you watched my most recent video where I shared my personal thoughts on the 2016 World Cup of Hockey jerseys, you may find that this video is kind of like a sequel in some ways, because for this video, like my last video, I will also be talking about Adidas and hockey jerseys, because for this video I'm going to be sharing my personal thoughts on Adidas getting the NHL's jersey contract. However, I was planning on doing a second video to share my personal thoughts on Adidas getting the Canadian Football League's jersey contract as well. However, looking at the view counts for my CFL videos, I honestly believe very strongly that most people really could care less about the CFL, and I can completely understand that. So what I've decided to do is to combine the two into this video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by sharing my thoughts on the NHL's jersey contract. And then after that, I'm going to finish this video by sharing my thoughts about the CFL's jersey contract. And then that way, if you are like most people and you're not interested in the Canadian Football League, you don't have to catch that part of the video. And if you're a fan of the CFL, such as myself, feel free to catch the rest of the video. So with that, so enough of the introduction. I'm going to talk about my thoughts here. When I heard that Adidas got the NHL's jersey contract, I was very happy to hear that. And my reason is because after seeing what Nike has done with the Sochi Olympic hockey jerseys, and also what Nike has done to all of their sports jerseys in general, I would rather, to be honest, for me, it's a case of me preferring to stay with the devil I know than the devil I don't. And I know that Adidas does not currently make the NHL's jerseys, but let me mention one thing. Did you know that Adidas actually already owns Reebok? And if you are a fan of the Canadian Hockey League, did you know that Adidas also owns CCM? CCM makes the CHL's jerseys, in case anyone's wondering. But with that, I mean, hearing that Adidas is going to just be putting their brand on the NHL jerseys, I feel a lot better knowing that when Reebok's done in the National Hockey League, odds are very good that a lot of the jerseys are not going to change. And for me, personally, as a hockey jersey traditionalist and someone who prefers more of the throwback style jerseys rather than some of the crazy ones like the ones we've seen in the Stadium Series games in recent years, I think it's a really nice piece of news to hear. And also, with Adidas, I mean, I know that when Reebok first took over the NHL in 2007, the truth is they pretty much pulled what a lot of people call the Reebokalypse, where they ruined the jerseys of quite a few teams, such as Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, Calgary, Colorado, Dallas. I mean, I could honestly go on, but I'm not going to bother. But anyways, when Reebok first took over, a lot of people were pissed off, and I totally agreed with those people. I mean, they started off terribly. I mean, And especially with teams such as Calgary and Edmonton. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Edmonton because I thought their jerseys were downright horrible. Like, who the hell would approve such terrible jerseys? My God. They looked like, to be honest, they looked like really, really bad practice jerseys. Like, I would have honestly rather seen the Oilers just wear their practice jerseys on the ice over those uniprong Reebok Edge jerseys. And it's things like that that really pissed me off when Reebok took over. However, since Reebok's taken over, a lot of teams such as Edmonton, St. Louis, the New York Islanders, and the Philadelphia Flyers have all gone back to their original jerseys. And as far as I'm concerned, all of those teams look absolutely fantastic. Oh, and I didn't mean to include St. Louis in that because they did not go back to their original jerseys. They went to a slightly improved version of their 2000s jerseys, which in my opinion are probably some of the best and arguably the best jerseys St. Louis has ever had since 1967. Which is a pretty significant statement to make, especially for a team turning 50 years old. My goodness. Anyways, about that as well. I mean, with Adidas in the NHL, you're going to find, hopefully, I'm hoping that there's more continuity where it's more just the same thing that we've been seeing with Reebok over a radical change like what Nike would most likely do if they were to take over. And with Nike's track record with teams such as the Cleveland Browns and Tampa Bay Buccaneers of the National Football League, and especially after what they did with the Sochi Olympic jerseys, honestly, I do not want to see Nike take over whatsoever. I mean, they seem to be very focused on sublimation or sublimated designs, super innovative looks that, in my personal opinion, usually suck. And they write out these long ass essays talking about how this piece of carbon fiber plating or whatever the hell they come up with, oh, this represents the geography of the city and this represents their unique history. I mean, if you read some of the explanations that Nike has had for some of their hideous jerseys, you want to know something? You would be scratching your head asking yourself, what the hell did I just read? Oh, and I'm going to throw something else in here too. You know what I think? I think, to be honest with all of you viewers who are watching this video, if you need a whole essay to explain a uniform, it probably isn't very good. At least that's what I've found. I mean, that's not always the case, but I find a lot of times that a lot of these jerseys that come out, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFL, when they have a really long explanation, usually it's because they're not very good. So, speaking of Nike, there's something I want to quickly show on my computer. And let's see here. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a trip back in time to 2014, which was 2 years ago as of this video. See all these jerseys here. Sorry guys, I have a bit of a cold. But these are all the jerseys that came out for the Sochi Olympics. I mean, on the top left-hand corner, you have Austria, and you have Canada's, which their red and white jerseys were nothing more than a maple leaf cut out of a piece of fabric. True story. And their third jersey, I don't like it, but at least it's a little more creative. And do you notice something as well? I know it may be hard to see on my camera here, but they've got these weird plastic designs on the shoulders. I mean, you see them on Japan's jerseys, you see them on the American jerseys, and look at that Swiss and Swedish jerseys. Look at how plain they are. I mean, the Swedish jerseys don't even have arm stripes. And see what I mean about Nike's love affair with sublimated designs? I mean, look at that Russian jersey. Yikes. I thought it was terrible. I'm sure a lot of people probably really liked it, but I didn't care for it. Slovenia's were a huge meh for me. I did not like them. And then look at that Czech flag jersey. My God. I thought that thing was I thought that was ugly as hell. It looked like they were wearing pajamas, to be honest. At least the German ones were alright. And I did not care for the Finnish flag jersey. Very boring, though creative. And the Norwegian jerseys were actually okay. And the Slovakian jerseys, I mean, look at that white one, how similar it is to the American white one. But one cool thing that I thought was neat was the national anthem written as like pinstripes on the jerseys. But I found that these were really boring. And a quick tip of the hat to the American team for that old throwback. That's a great jersey. Should be worn all the time, in my opinion. But you see stuff like that with Nike, and I would absolutely hate to see what they would have for the NHL. And I don't mean to bash Nike if you're a huge lover of Nike, but I mean, as a hockey fan and as somebody who really enjoys hockey jerseys, I would hate to see what Nike would have in store. Now, as I say that, Adidas actually has me a little tiny bit concerned as well. And my reasoning for that is because on every single jersey for the World Cup of hockey, they all have the Adidas 3 stripes on the sides instead of side panels. Well, they are side panels, but anyways, they all have the trademark 3 stripes from Adidas. Why the hell are they there? Those 3 stripes have even cut off the stripes on some of the jerseys. And in my opinion, I don't like them. I think they're in the way, and for me, they're kind of an eyesore. And they're also cutting off stripes around the waist, which is kind of annoying, because if for some of the jerseys for the World Cup, they'd actually be pretty decent if they didn't have their striping cut off by those 3 stripes. And on top of that, I mean, after seeing what they did with the Team Europe jerseys, and also what they did with the Team North America and the American blue jersey, I'm a little tiny bit concerned with what they may do for the NHL. And also, I did not care for Canada's jerseys at all, even though I love the 1972 style maple leafs on the arms. I thought that was a nice touch. But anyways, I mean, did Adidas not learn anything from the Buffalo Sabres infamous turd burger alternate uniform that was half yellow, half navy blue? I mean, now they've got a whole uniform that's half navy blue and a half dark royal blue. And I'm not a lover of the logo either, even though for a Team Europe jersey, it's hard to really come up with anything. So I guess a bonus point for creativity, but my God, that half blue and that half navy, half dark royal Team Europe jersey's hideous. Now, as for the Team North America jerseys, I mean, as I said in my last video, I thought that they were a neat little change-up, especially for a youth 23 and under North American team which is meant to be a young team. I thought it was cool that they came up with something original. But the gray striping on both jerseys looks like somebody took a piece of paper, glued it onto the jerseys, and shaded the gray in with a pencil. I mean, seriously. Imagine that type of thing coming into the NHL onto a third jersey near you. Yikes. That would suck. At least in my opinion. I mean, for the World Cup, I mean, it's a kind of a special event, but nevertheless, I'd rather they just stick to more traditional looks. But yeah, I mean, something like that in the NHL, I mean, I would not be a fan of it. And also, I don't like the new overlapping collars that Adidas came up with for the World Cup of Hockey, where it's got the one piece sticking out and then the other parts, they kind of overlap it. Or underlap it, I should say. I don't care for that at all. I hate the new collar design. And I've noticed some of the things from the World Cup of Hockey jerseys kind of remind me of some of the things they've come up with for the Stadium Series jerseys in the NHL. And, you know, I'm honestly not a fan. And I kind of think that some of the more recent Stadium Series jerseys have been Adidas testing out new designs before they take over Reebok in 2017. And, you know, if we're going to get a more Stadium Series styled looking NHL, I really don't like the sounds of it, to be honest. I can picture it right now, and it just doesn't seem very appealing to me. Now, with that, I mean, as much as I'm happy to hear that Adidas is taking over instead of Nike for the NHL, you know, as I say that, I mean, as long as Adidas is more Reebok NHL as of 2016 over the World Cup of Hockey 2016 jersey styles, I think the NHL will be fine. But if they go the World Cup of Hockey route, to be honest, I would be a little bit concerned about some of the jersey changes coming in the next few years from now. And on top of that, to be completely honest, I mean, I'd rather have the Adidas 3 stripes on the sides of the jerseys over side panels, but you know what? I would rather they just got rid of the side panels altogether. And I want to show one more thing before I finish wrapping up the NHL for this video. Anyways, let's see here. Okay, this is a German national soccer jersey. Like, you see here how the 3 stripes are on the shoulder down to the arm? I mean, in soccer, the 3 stripes can be tastefully done. But, I mean, imagine that on the sides of, say, the Habs jerseys. I mean, I know that they won't get away with it in the NHL with the original 6 teams, thank God. But imagine this type of thing in the NHL. I mean, I would not be a fan. But at least in this case, I mean, at least it's tastefully done here. Where in the NHL, I mean, I would argue that as of the World Cup of Hockey jerseys, I mean, I would argue that they're an eyesore. So with that, that's my thoughts on Adidas getting the NHL's contract. I think it's a good thing overall. And hey, I'd rather take my chances with Adidas over Nike any day. Now, on to the Canadian Football League real quick here. In recent years, in the past couple of years, we've seen the signature jerseys. To be honest, I only liked the Stampeders and the BC Lions jerseys. The other ones all were, for the most part, very forgettable or downright terrible. And, I mean, if Adidas takes over, and all of a sudden we got a bunch of teams with the Adidas 3 stripes all over their jerseys, or down the sides of every jersey, I'm going to be real disappointed. But the good news is that not Chicago, sorry, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they just slightly updated their logo, and they got rid of all of the gray on the logo and made it more black and white and, of course, green. So that's a huge plus. However, just because you have a good logo doesn't mean that the jerseys are going to be necessarily good. So after seeing what the Riders have been wearing for the past couple of years, which have been downright horrible in my personal opinion, I just, I'm hoping that the CHL or CFL's jerseys, I hope that they turn out okay with Adidas. And once again, I mean, I would rather take my chances with Adidas than Nike, especially after what Nike has done to the NFL. For the most part, I hate the fly wires. I hate the fly wire collars. I hate the rebrands. Most of the rebrands that Nike has done. The only rebrand that I've liked in the NFL so far since Nike's taken over is what they've done with the Minnesota Vikings. That's it. And I don't even love their new uniforms, and I say that. But what I'm concerned about with Adidas is that we have teams such as the Tiger Cats and the Argonauts and the Eskimos green jersey and the BC Lions, where they have simple traditional looks. And in my opinion, Hamilton and Toronto have beautiful uniforms. And I would hate to see Adidas come in and ruin that. But I kind of have a feeling that when Adidas takes over, I kind of have a good feeling that there may be a chance that they only make a few changes here and there. But as I say that, Adidas completely wrecks the CFL. But hopefully that's not the case. Anyways, I mean, to kind of summarize my thoughts on the CFL's jerseys, I mean, I would rather have Adidas over Nike any day of the week. And you know what? Adidas, as I've said earlier, talking about the NHL, Adidas already owns Reebok. So hopefully that means that not too much is going to change. And in the CFL's case, for the teams such as the Calgarys, the Red Blacks, the Alouettes, and the Rough Riders, and the Blue Bombers of the Canadian Football League, when Adidas comes in, hopefully they'll improve their uniforms. Even though, as I say that, I'm really going to miss Winnipeg's gold away jersey. I thought it was so cool to see one football team without a white road jersey. And to hear that Winnipeg's not going to be wearing gold on the road anymore, I'm going to miss it. I'm not lying when I say that. But anyways, with that, that's the end for this video. Sorry, guys. With that, that's it for this video. I apologize if it may have been a little bit difficult to understand me at times. I'm currently battling a cold, and until my next video, as I always say, take care and bye for now. And apologies for my video being almost 25 minutes long. Anyways, see you later. Bye for now.